Should you buy now or should you wait for interest rates to come down further? Well, should I buy now or not is a timeless question when it comes to real estate. No matter what's happening in the market, people always want to know the answer to this. I am going to dive into that, and I'm going to back it up with what's happening in our market as far as the data is concerned. But before we do all of that, I just want you guys to understand that the best time to buy a home or sell a home is when you are ready. It should be very specific to your circumstances, your finances, your goals. Timing the market is a really tricky thing. It's not necessarily something you should be too concerned about because we know that overall real estate is a long-term game, right? They always say the best time to buy was 5 years ago. I'm not gonna just stand here and regurgitate real estate catchphrases, but there is some truth to that, right? Real estate in general, unless you are a flipper, is meant to be something you hold for the long term. That being said, these little nuances of what is happening in the market over a 5-year period are not necessarily going to have a tremendous impact on whether or not you won in your deal when you go to sell, right? So that being said, I am gonna get a little bit more granular about what's happening right now and discuss whether or not you should buy or wait for the interest rates to come down. At the time of filming this, interest rates are currently in the low 6s. So it's a bit lower than it was a couple weeks ago, but it's still relatively high compared to where we were at in the very beginning of the year and way higher than we were at during the COVID era, which is when a lot of people had flooded the market. A lot of experts believe that interest rates overall are going to come down by the end of summer and the end of this year. I also tend to agree, though there will be little fluctuations within that on our journey from point A to point B. So you may be thinking, I should just wait till it's cheaper to borrow money, right? Like I should just wait until the rates are in the high 5s or even lower because it will cost me less to borrow that money from a lender in order to finance my home. I totally understand, and that is a logical train of thought. However, you need to understand that the basics of supply and demand tell us that when the money is cheaper to borrow for you, it's also cheaper for everyone in this market. Now, let's look back to the COVID times, right? Like interest rates got as low as 1.75 at one point, and they were kind of hovering in that 1 to 3% range, which is unheard of. But what did that do? It flooded the market with buyers because it made borrowing money a lot more affordable across the board for a lot more people. So the people who won in that market, they won big, right? However, we have to remember that during that time, so many people were competing for the same homes that it was causing bidding wars. There was traffic at every showing. There were multiple offers on every property. And what did that do? You guys know, right? It drove up prices. So we can't forget so soon what that was actually like. And while I don't believe that this is going to be that drastic because we're not seeing anything in the 2% range anytime soon, you guys, but if it does drop down into the 5s, which I believe at some point in the near future it will, we are going to see a lot more people come back into the market who were priced out because of affordability. And so with that, price tags are going to be driven up. We also have to remember that in our market specifically, there is a huge scarcity factor, and there has been for more than a decade, you guys. There are not enough homes for people who need to buy them, and the last metric at the close out of the month of March, we were at 1.4 months supply of inventory. So that is a very severe scarcity metric. So that combined with potentially lower interest rates is going to make a super hot seller's market climate when things do change in that way. So here's the thing, if you purchase now, yes, your monthly payments might be a little bit higher than they would be if you had a lower mortgage interest rate. I get that seems scary and stressful. However, at some point, and I'm not gonna say that you absolutely can, but I am gonna say that at some point you most likely may have an opportunity to refinance your mortgage and get a better rate. The thing you can never change once you close on your home is the price tag, right? You can't go back 6 months from now and be like, actually, I'm gonna offer you $475,000 instead of $500,000. That's just not how it works, right? You're never gonna be able to renegotiate the price tag. And so if you can get into a home right now that has great terms and you can use some creative financing strategies to buy down your interest rate perhaps, or do some kind of 3-2-1 or 2-1 buy down where the seller gives you a credit towards your interest rate, that might be ultimately the best situation that you could find yourself in, because otherwise, if you wait, the cost of waiting actually might outweigh, with the price tag of the home, the deal that you are able to get now in this market. If you guys have any other questions about real estate or about the Reno Sparks lifestyle or anything that goes on here in terms of buying or selling homes, I would love to be a resource for you. You can actually book a free call with me. It's no obligation, no strings attached, just a chance to meet, see if we might be a good fit to work together, or at the very least get your questions answered. So there's a link to do that in the description box below. Go ahead and hit me up. And if you haven't already, it would mean the world if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel. I put out weekly videos about the Reno Sparks lifestyle, the Northern Nevada housing market, and all things related to buying and selling real estate. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.